What if I told you that one of the most recommended things to do after 60, walking every day, might actually be making you weaker, not safer? I know that probably sounds strange. After all, walking is supposed to be the perfect exercise, right? It's gentle, it's low impact. My own doctor recommends it, and I know millions of older adults rely on it as their main, sometimes only, form of exercise. And let me be very clear, walking is good. I walk almost every morning here in Asheville with my husband David. But here's something that shocked me after spending 33 years in education and watching my own mother lose her independence in her 70s. A 2019 study from the University of Waterloo found that normal walking activates only about 32% of the gluteus maximus, the largest and most powerful muscle in your body. That means nearly 2/3 of one of your most important strength muscles is barely being used. Even more surprising, the researchers found that people who relied only on walking continued to lose muscle stability and protective strength year after year, even though they were staying active. That's not a typo. And what really struck me was this. The people who thought they were being the most careful were often the ones losing strength the fastest. I saw this happen with my own sister Carol throughout her 60s. She was so focused on staying active through walking that she didn't realize her body was getting weaker in the places that actually matter for independence. She gained weight gradually, her joints started aching, and her confidence in movement just faded. I watched it happen to my mother Patricia, too. She lost mobility and independence earlier than expected, not because she was inactive, but because the strength she needed to catch herself, to rise confidently, to move through the world with her own power, that strength had quietly disappeared. But here's what really matters, and why I felt I had to share this today. The truth is, the number one thing we'll show you in this video is so simple, so basic, and so overlooked that most people never question what happens when they don't do it. And quietly over time, that's how balance disappears. That's how getting up from a chair gets harder. That's how independence slowly fades without anyone noticing the exact moment it began. I didn't notice it until I was 58. That's when it hit me like a wake-up call. I was living in a body that no longer felt strong or like mine. I was softer, stiffer, more tired. And I realized this is what happened to my mother. This is what happened to my sister. And if I didn't do something different, this would be my path too. Today, we're going to change that. But before we dive in, I'd love to know your name and where you are watching from. We've got an amazing community of women and men who are choosing something different after 60. Some of you are 70, even 80 plus, and I want you to know you are not alone. You are part of something that matters to me deeply. A movement of people who believe that aging should be empowering, not limiting. When you drop your comment below with your name and location, you're part of that movement. Say hello to someone else in the comments because I truly believe community is one of the strongest things you can build at any age. And I read every single comment you leave. Today, I'm sharing 5 essential movements that changed everything for me, and that I truly believe every adult over 60 should know, especially if you want to stay strong, steady, and independent. What I realized over these past 6 years, since my real turning point at age 60, is that these movements are backed by real science, but more importantly, they're designed with our joint safety in mind. They're focused on glute strength, one of the most critical but most neglected areas in how we move as we age. We're going to count down from number 5 to number 1, And I promise you, the first exercise we cover might sound so basic that you'll almost skip it. But the last one will surprise you the most because it's the one that changed everything for me. Let's start from the ground up, literally. Number 5, step-ups, the real-life strength test. You didn't know you were failing on the surface. Step-ups sound so harmless, almost like just walking with a little extra lift. Most people wouldn't even consider it an exercise. After all, we step up onto curbs, into buses, and onto stairs every day. It's no big deal, right? But here's what I've learned and what I realized about my own mother's decline. After 60, your ability to step up using one leg at a time is one of the most important indicators of real-world strength and fall risk. And if you haven't been training it intentionally, you're likely losing it without even knowing it. You see, step-ups challenge your gluteus maximus, gluteus medius, and the stabilizer muscles around your hips and core. These are the muscles that help you climb stairs without holding onto a rail. These are the muscles that let you rise from a low chair with confidence. These are the muscles that help you catch yourself if you trip. My daughter Emily is a school counselor, and she's told me how many of her adult clients are terrified of falling. And what changed for me is I realized that fear often comes from a body that's been quietly losing the exact strength these movements build. But if your body hasn't been using those muscles intentionally, they start to shut down quietly and slowly, without pain, until one day you wonder why you feel unstable. I saw this with my sister. She didn't feel anything wrong until suddenly stairs felt dangerous. A 2021 study from the University of Florida found that adults over 60 who practice step-up exercises just twice a week for 6 weeks improved single leg strength by 27% and stair climbing stability by 33% without using heavy weights or machines. The problem isn't just aging. It's not challenging your body in the way daily life requires. That's what I learned. It doesn't have to be extreme, it just has to be intentional. Here's a safer version that I use myself. Use a low step or platform 6 to 10 inches high. Place your whole foot on the step. Press through your heel as you lift. No jumping, no momentum. Hold a wall or chair for balance. Do 2 to 3 sets of 8 reps per leg, 2 times per week. And here's the best part, the part that keeps me going. Every step up you do isn't just exercise. It's a message to your nervous system that says, I'm still strong, I can still rise. That's what it's really about. Number 4, glute kickbacks. The smallest move with the biggest impact on your posture. It's just a little leg lift. How effective could it really be? That's what I thought when I first started this, honestly. That's what many people think when they see this movement. It looks so simple, so gentle, that most people either skip it or do it without any real focus. But little by little, I realized that tiny lift could be the difference between walking tall and walking in pain. Here's why. As we age, one of the first muscle functions we lose is the ability to extend the hip without overusing the lower back. That means instead of using your glutes to power your steps, your body starts compensating with tight hip flexors, overworked hamstrings, and strain in the lower back. I started feeling this around 50. My lower back would ache after long days at work. I thought it was just aging. But what I realized is my body was trying to do a job with the wrong muscle groups. Glute kickbacks are designed to retrain your nervous system. They tell your brain, this is the muscle we want firing first. The gluteus maximus is your powerhouse for walking, climbing stairs, and getting out of a chair. If it's dormant, everything else starts working too hard. Everything gets tight. Everything aches. A study in the Journal of Geriatric Physical Therapy found that targeted glute activation, including kickbacks, improved hip extension control, walking confidence, and balance in adults over 65 in just 4 weeks. Let that sink in. No gym, no weights, just smart, focused movement. That's what I'm talking about. Here's how to do it safely at home, and I do this almost every day now. Stand behind a sturdy chair or countertop and lightly hold on for balance. Keeping your back straight, lift one leg straight behind you. Don't arch your lower back. The motion should come from the glute. You can actually feel the difference when you get it right. Hold at the top for 1 to 2 seconds, squeeze, and return. Do 10 to 12 reps per leg, 2 to 3 sets. This isn't about how high you lift. It's really about how well you connect to the right muscle. It's about teaching your body to use what it was built to use. Even without any equipment, glute kickbacks can help restore strength, posture, and confidence, one small lift at a time. And you know what? I've noticed my posture has changed. I stand taller. I feel taller. That matters more than people realize. Number 3, glute bridge. This is the most powerful move you can do. Lying down on the floor doesn't feel like exercise. That's something my grandchildren have said to me when they watch me do this in the living room. We're conditioned to believe that movement has to be fast, sweaty, or complicated to be effective. But here's a quiet truth that I've discovered. One of the most powerful strength builders for your hip, spine, and posture can be done lying down. It's called the glute bridge, and it's not just for gym goers or athletes. It's for anyone who wants to stand taller, reduce back pain, and move with more ease after 60. And that's all of us, really. So why is it so important? As we age, many people lose the ability to activate their glutes without also straining the lower back. The brain forgets the correct firing order. I can feel this when I'm tired. My body wants to use my lower back instead of my hips, and we begin relying on the spine or hamstrings to do the job our glutes were built for. The glute bridge restores that connection. When done correctly, it builds strength in the gluteus maximus, improves posture by reinforcing the posterior chain, and trains the body to lift using the hips, not the spine. A clinical trial published in the Journal of Orthopedic and Sports Physical Therapy followed adults over 55 who added glute bridges to their routine. After just 8 weeks, they experienced a 42% reduction in chronic lower back pain and a 35% improvement in mobility scores. That's without medication or surgery, just mindful movement. That spoke to me deeply because I remember the lower back pain. It made me feel older than I was. Here's how to do a safe glute bridge at home, which is what I do almost daily now. Lie on a mat or firm surface. Bend your knees, feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. Keep arms relaxed at your sides. Tighten your glutes and lift your hips only until your body forms a straight line from shoulders to knees. Avoid arching your lower back. Hold at the top for 2 to 3 seconds. Squeeze the glutes. Lower slowly. Repeat 12 to 15 reps, 2 to 3 sets. Optional tip. Place a pillow or yoga block between your knees to stay aligned and engage more stabilizer muscles. This is what I do because it helps me feel exactly which muscles are working. This movement may look gentle, but it teaches your body how to support itself from the ground up. It's like teaching your body a new language, and every time you do it, your body learns to trust itself a little more. Number 2, seated band abductions. The invisible muscle that protects every step you take. How much can pushing your knees apart while sitting really do? Honestly, more than most people ever realize. This small-looking move is one of the most powerful tools for building hip stability, fall prevention, and knee protection, especially after 60. It targets a part of your body that rarely gets attention, the side glutes, specifically the gluteus medius and gluteus minimus. These muscles don't get headlines like the big glutes do, but they play a critical role every single time you stand on one leg, even for a second, shift your weight, or recover from a trip. When these muscles weaken, as they often do from sitting, aging, or lack of use, your body starts to wobble side to side with each step. I noticed this with my sister. She started walking differently, kind of leaning to one side. She didn't even realize it was happening. That hip wobble may seem subtle at first, but it leads to misalignment in the knees, extra stress on the lower back, and eventually higher fall risk. And that's the path I watched my mother go down. In fact, a study published in the Aging and Balance Journal found that hip abduction strength, your ability to press your knees outward, was the #1 predictor of fall recovery success in adults over 65. Let that sink in. Not reflexes, not eyesight, not walking speed. The strength of this invisible muscle group, your side glutes, mattered most. That changed how I think about exercise. It's not about looking fit. It's about staying safe in the real moments that matter. Here's how to do this movement safely at home, and it's one I do a few times a week. Sit on a firm chair with your feet flat on the ground. Place a light resistance band just above your knees. Keep your knees bent and hip-width apart. Slowly press your knees outward, keeping feet planted. Hold the widest point for 1 to 2 seconds, then return with control. Repeat 12 to 15 reps for 2 to 3 sets. Tip: the slower you go, the harder your glutes work and the more control you regain. You'll feel it. It might not look dramatic, but every time you press your knees out, you're strengthening the very muscles that keep you walking tall and standing strong. You can do this while watching television. You can do this while your grandchildren are playing nearby. You can start where you are. #1, Bulgarian split squat, the most underrated strength move for adults over 60. This sounds way too advanced for someone my age. That was literally my first reaction when I heard the name. And honestly, I don't blame anyone for thinking that. The name sounds like something from an Olympic training camp, not something you'd find in a living room workout for older adults. But here's the truth. This is the single most powerful, functional, and real-life glute strengthener most people over 60 are never taught, and it's costing them more than they know. It cost my mother, it cost my sister years of confidence, and I almost let it cost me too. Here's what makes this move so unique. It forces your gluteus maximus and gluteus medius to fire, while also improving your balance, core stability, and proprioception, your body's ability to sense where it is in space. That means better stair control, better fall recovery, and a more symmetrical, confident stride. Most exercises don't train your body to stabilize on one leg, but real life demands it all the time. Walking, turning, reaching, stepping off a curb, all require single leg control. Yet when we avoid this kind of challenge because it feels too hard, we never give our body a chance to rebuild what it's losing. When I turned 60, I made a commitment. I realized that what changed for me was accepting that my body needed to be challenged in specific ways, not abandoned because it felt uncomfortable. This movement taught me that lesson more than anything else. According to the physical therapist I've consulted with, the Bulgarian split squat is one of the most effective ways to restore symmetry, correct gait, and rebuild hip strength in people my age. In clinical practice, it's been used to help people improve walking patterns, and I've heard stories of people regaining confidence they thought they'd lost forever. The biggest danger is not the movement itself, but avoiding it entirely. Because when one leg gets weaker, you shift more weight to the stronger side, overload one knee or hip, and create an imbalance that leads to real injuries and long-term pain. I see this pattern everywhere. My sister had it, my mother had it, I was heading toward it. Here's how to do a safe version at home, which is what I do. Stand about 2 feet in front of a sturdy chair or low bench. Place the top of one foot behind you on the chair. Use another chair or wall for support. This is important. You're not trying to be brave. You're trying to be smart. Slowly bend your front knee and lower down only as far as comfortable. Keep your chest lifted and don't let your front knee collapse inward. Push through your front heel to return to standing. Start with 6 to 8 reps per leg, 2 to 3 sets, body weight only. Modification tip. If balance is a challenge, reduce the depth and use support. Control matters more than range. I've learned this the hard way. I'd rather do 5 perfect reps than 10 sloppy ones. What I want to tell you is this. I've seen this movement transform how I feel in my own body. Within 8 weeks of doing modified split squats regularly, I was climbing stairs with confidence I hadn't felt in years. I wasn't just gaining strength, I was gaining confidence in my own body again. I was reclaiming the independence I felt slipping away. And that's what this is really about. Not chasing youth, but reclaiming the strength to stay you. Modern medicine is powerful, but it's not perfect. And after 60, more isn't always better. You don't need to run marathons. You don't need to lift heavy weights. And you definitely don't need to keep up with 20-somethings at the gym. Because here's the truth most people never hear. At this stage of life, your body doesn't reward intensity. It rewards consistency. It's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters. And what matters now is building strength that supports the way you live. Getting out of a chair without using your arms. Walking confidently, even on uneven ground. Catching yourself if you slip and staying upright. Playing on the floor with your grandchildren without worrying about whether you can get back up. These are the things that matter. The glutes aren't just about posture. They're not just about strength. They're about independence. And that independence comes from activating the muscles your body forgot in ways that are safe, smart, and specific to this season of life. My mother, Patricia, lost her independence because the strength needed to catch herself, to rise up, to move through her day with power, that strength had disappeared. I watched it happen, and I promised myself it wouldn't happen to me. I'm 66 now. My grandchildren Sophie, Henry, and Lily can see that their grandmother is strong. That matters to them. That matters to me. That matters to David. This isn't vanity. This is about being present in the life I want to live. So next time someone says, just go for a walk, you'll know that walking is wonderful. It truly is, but it's only the start. Real prevention doesn't begin at the doctor's office. It begins when you reconnect with your body and choose movements that rebuild trust, not just motion. That's what I've learned. That's what changed for me. So ask yourself, before any new test, treatment, or trendy workout, what happens next if this doesn't help? And then remember, you already have the tools. You already have the wisdom. You already have a body that can be stronger than it is today. Now you just need the movement to match. Now I'd really love to hear from you. Which of these 5 exercises surprised you the most? Have you ever struggled with balance, back pain, or weakness and realized it wasn't just aging after all? Your story might be exactly what someone else needs to read today. So drop a comment below. I genuinely read every single one, and your words matter to this community. And if you're part of this movement where age means strength, not slowing down, we'd be honored if you hit the like button, share this video, and subscribe. Because your next chapter doesn't start at the doctor's office. It starts when you move. It starts when you choose to rebuild the strength that's yours to have. It starts with the next 10 minutes of your day. I'll see you there.